Everyone has a story to tell. Shining a light on stories that uplift us, that change us, that inspire us. The Yogi Hour. Listen, be inspired.
Put yourself in. Okay.
You're live.
We're live.
Over to you, John.
Okay. All right. Did the intro go ahead there? Okay. Welcome to the Yogi Hour. This is our first broadcast. And welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to do an interview with what I regard as a very special person. He's a spiritual yogi. He is a person who's traveled the world doing what he does, helping lots of people. He's been on stage all over the world. He's done, he's very much interested in martial arts. He is a handyman, and he's an all-around good guy. So I'd like to welcome Dina Dayal. How are you, Dina?
Thank you, John.
Nice to see you. It's been a long time since I was talking to you and seeing you in person.
Yes, I feel privileged to be your first guest in the Yogi Hour podcast.
Thank you. So you're in Switzerland at the moment, coming to us from Switzerland, and what's that like over there?
Yeah, it's a land of chocolate, land of mountains, land of Alps. That's how most people know this place.
Cool. Okay, so you're a very spiritual person, and I was just wondering how did this begin for you? How did this spiritual path and everything that you're doing, how did it kind of begin for you?
Yeah, good question. It actually began when I happened to read one magazine. It was an esoteric magazine, which was basically, it contained different articles from different people, like New Age crowd and UFO guys who are into UFOs. And then one devotee of Krishna happened to write articles into that magazine. And then that article, you could say, that was a turning point. It changed my life, because in that article, he spoke about 4 pillars of religion, which we know as devotees, right? Mercy, cleanliness, austerity, and what was the 4th one? And yes. Honesty, yeah, truthfulness. So yeah, just after reading this article, it was so well written and very convincingly written that I decided to become vegetarian just by reading that. And of course, it sparked my interest about Vedas, because this article mentioned the word Vedas many times. And so, yeah, the result was that I asked a friend in school, do you know something about Vedas? And he said, yeah, I have 2 books. I can borrow you. And this was Srila Prabhupada's books, Sri Upanishad and another compilation. So that really, I would consider the starting point.
Okay. Yeah, the Sri Upanishad was one of the first books I ever read as well. Come across in my home. And it was definitely something that really kind of sparked as well. I have to admit, it wasn't something I understood from when I read it, but it kind of was churning in my mind constantly for like quite a while before I kind of got into the spiritual practice as well. So, but before you started, you were kind of studying to be a designer. Is that, if I'm right? You were into design,
Right.
You were.
Yes, this. I was always artist from very childhood, but while I was in high school, then that interest really started to blossom. This desire to create something, to be innovative, be creative, and naturally, it ended up. I ended up in Academy of Arts studying product design in Estonia, the country where I'm from. And while I was there, it happened at that time when I came in contact with spiritual knowledge and Srila Prabhupada's books, when I was in the middle of my studies.
Yeah, and you've been able to kind of, I suppose, use that in a lot of ways in your spiritual practice. You know, you go on stage quite a lot, and you did even design your own clothes and design your own weapons, which I've noticed you doing. So you know, have you always had an interest in spiritual life? Is that kind of what, or did it just happen when you read the books that, oh, you know, I'm interested now in spirituality? Or, you know, have you always had it from a young age that spiritual life was something always a part of you and what you did? Or
Yes, to some degree, I could say it was always attractive. When I was very young, I remember I was reading a lot. I guess there was some kind of quest for wisdom, for knowledge, for truth, and so I was reading. But unfortunately, I didn't come in contact with Vedic knowledge, spiritual knowledge, until I was at the age of 19. Yeah. So I think this search for spiritual, it manifested in different ways. But yes, when I came in contact with the books of Srila Prabhupada, it just exploded. Just like you said also, that you, in your first readings of Ishopanishad, you were not able to understand much. So I had a similar experience that, coming in contact with a lot of Sanskrit words, which you never heard it before. And so there was a lot of question marks, but at the same time, what came through very strongly from Srila Prabhupada's words was that strong message that this world is not a place for happiness. There's another place where we're supposed to go, and we should take up the process, which is meant for going to that eternal place. So basically, Srila Prabhupada doesn't leave you much options if you read. He's very strong.
Yeah, but you've taken to it fairly, seriously, and there must have been a kind of point where you kind of, transitioned over from what I suppose you thought your life might look like, I'm going to work and I'm going to earn money and I'm going to, whatever was in your mind at that point. But then all of a sudden your whole life takes a different direction and you move into, becoming a monk and living in an ashram and traveling the world and, going on stage, doing a lot of theater, you're doing a lot of shows to probably, thousands and thousands of people, even teaching people about spiritual life and, teaching people about what you do. You've even kind of been part of the show in a different way where you're doing the lighting and sound, and you've had to teach others, to train others to do what you do. So was it an easy transition, or was there kind of barriers and things you had to work through? Was there difficulties, hurdles you had to overcome, or was it kind of like, yes, this is definitely what I want to do, and I'm taking it, 100%?
Yes. When I was a student in Art Academy, studying design, at that time I was also working. Same time, I got accepted as a helper worker in a design company, and so I got some experience. I saw what the reality is in a big bad world, as you said. And so I became very disillusioned. Really, I could have probably had really successful career as a designer. I was pretty, doing quite good in my studies, and I had, and as designers, you're expected to be inventor and innovator, to come up with some new product, some new clever technical solution, or how some item could be made multifunctional, or so I had plenty of ideas, but when I saw the reality, how the companies who are producing all the stuff and the designers are working for these companies and corporations, and I realized that a lot of things that are being produced and sold are just unnecessary waste. Not good for the planet, not good for the people's mental, physical, moral health, and so on. And I just didn't want to be part of it. I wasn't attracted anymore. And then when I came to contact with Krishna consciousness, started to practice. First year I was living in home, going to my school and practicing from home. But at one point, after reading Srila Prabhupada's books, I became naturally attracted to the monastic lifestyle, to the life of a monk. And it came to the point where I asked the temple authorities in my country, would it be possible if I live in temple as a monk and still go to school as my part of my service? And they agreed. And so yes, my last year that I had to finish in school, I did it from the temple, living as a monk, following all the temple program, the strict program, and did it as my service. Yeah. So that sense, the transition was really easy. It was very natural somehow. It wasn't a struggle at all. It's not that I was really lamenting for having to leave behind my career. So yeah, for me it was a relief. I found something that I can connect with. And I wanted to practice this Krishna consciousness full time, not just part time. And yes, I saw this opportunity. I was very inspired by this, and I took it. And the rest is history.
Okay, cool. I am curious though, is that because for many of us who probably take to a spiritual path, we're coming from a home or a situation that might differ. So like, you're coming from possibly a Christian background, or growing up with a Christian family, or, any other background. So how did your family react to such a thing? Like, I remember my family felt a bit weird or awkward about it, and that made me feel awkward and weird about it. But I was just curious how your family kind of reacted to you changing the course of your life, basically, and taking on something else completely, and becoming a monk and living in an ashram. And were they okay with it, or was there kind of something to work out there for both you and them?
Yeah, it was when I initially became interested, and my first step was almost I shaved up, and I came home with this haircut. You see,
Yeah.
the monk haircut. Then yeah, I was pleasantly surprised seeing the reaction of my father. He saw this first time, and he was, "Oh, that's cool." So I was happy about that. Yes, my family, they were never particularly religious, which
Okay.
one sense maybe perhaps made it easier for them to accept what I did. It wasn't competition to their belief system in a sense. But yeah, they've always been very neutral about my choice. About what, at that sense, there's never I don't feel that obstacle from their side, which is nice. I often hear devotees they have the difficult time once they join with the parents, but that part was easy. But what was little causing some tension was initially when I started my practice and I still live in home. I had two little sisters, and they were very, as children as always, they're very receptive. And so I was reading Krishna book to them, and they love stories about Krishna. Even many years later, they remembered even small details about what I read, and I also kind of propagated vegetarianism, and they didn't want to eat meat anymore.
So have your whole family become vegetarians, or is it kind of a slow process?
My little sisters, they wanted to immediately pick up vegetarianism, but my parents were not very happy about it. And so that caused some tension there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And yes, yeah, I had to stop kind of talking about this topic. But once I stopped, then everything was fine again. Yeah, so it has been quite positive from their side.
Oh, good.
And especially,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, especially when my family members, they saw how much I traveled around the world. As I can mention, I performed my martial arts in 27 different countries by now. Yeah.
Wow.
So when they saw that, oh, he's traveling, so this Hare Krishna thing must be a good thing, because of this he's traveling a lot. So they see the material aspect. So
okay. So it's good. You felt kind of supported by your family in what you were doing, and which I suppose helped you to do it even to a greater extent. Because there wasn't that battle going on there, trying to convince your parents and your family about what you were doing.
Yeah, fortunately,
it made it much more easier, I suppose.
Right.
They weren't excommunicating you from Estonia or the family.
Yeah. They didn't hire deprogrammers or something like that. So
yeah. So excuse me. So what is it that's kind of really attracted you to this type of lifestyle, you might say?
it's hard to say exactly. I'm convinced it's somehow something to do with past lives and past life experiences.
Yeah.
But this simplicity. Well, one thing I can definitely say, I remember major, you can say, reason I made this decision was I just got so much higher taste, as we say, higher taste out of the practice. And so therefore, chanting, performing devotional service. So wow, when I experienced that, naturally, yeah, I will sign up here. I want to do this full time. Yeah, so I felt, after joining, I felt so much relief, because you have found something valuable, something that has meaning. It gives meaning to your life, and it's not just some theoretical thing. It is real. Why? Because you experience, you feel your life has transformed. You experience the bliss or higher taste from this process, and there's nothing more convincing. You see, it works. So therefore, I hadn't found anything better in this life, in this world. So I just wanted to jump straight into this process and then apply myself fully. As simple as that.
Okay.
And so, and I of course realized that temple life would give you the full facility for this type of lifestyle and activities.
Yeah. And like, what would your what would you do on a daily basis, basically? What is that routine or those things that you would do that would get you out of the bed in the morning, so to speak?
Yes, of course.
Seems I've lost you
5
there.
minutes for morning mantra meditation on our chanting beads. Then usually we have always the second part of the morning program, so some more chanting of mantras, glorifying spiritual master, and it ends finally with some philosophical discourse, some discussion on scriptures. So this is our morning, everyday spiritual practice.
But it doesn't just end there. There's like, everything throughout the day is kind of part of that practice, obviously.
Yes, right, correct. That's what Bhakti Yoga means. Bhakti Yoga means yoga of devotion. Yoga of devotion basically means that everything you do, every thought, every word, every activity, you try to dedicate for the pleasure of God, for Krishna. So therefore, yes, this Bhakti Yoga is something that never stops. Even the sleep is meant to be service. So to put your bones back together, so you're able to serve again next day with full energy. So in that sense, yes.
If you do get any sleep.
Well, that's a challenge. Yeah, this is one of the biggest challenges living, especially in temple as a monk. This sleep scarcity sometimes,
Sleep deprivation
can be challenging. Deprivation, yeah.
Yeah, I recall that. I sleep was one of the. I'd get maybe a couple of hours sleep, and then you do the morning program. But your head would be during japa period, or something. Head to be bobbing.
Right. So if you ask me what is the biggest challenge, then one of them answers is definitely sleep. Getting sufficient sleep. Because it's a little bit difficult to be present and fully absorbed in these spiritual practices without sufficient sleep. So, but it usually boils down to simply self-control, self-discipline, which means getting sleep early.
Yeah.
If you manage to go sleep early, problem solved.
If you manage.
If you manage. But that takes really determination and discipline to consistently go sleep early, really. Well, I also struggle with that.
Well, maybe you do now, but I remember when you were in Dublin, you used to go to bed usually pretty early, so you were pretty good at being focused on going to bed at a reasonable hour. So these are sort of, some of the principles that you would follow, I guess, that kind of help you in your spiritual practice. Is there other principles that we follow or you follow, to kind of help you?
If you're referring to 4 regulated principles, then
there might be 4 regulated principles, but there might be other principles that you kind of would abide by in your own, to kind of help you, or it can help anyone really in a spiritual practice, But obviously are the 4 regulated principles, but there are obviously other principles that will help to be able to practice in the right way, or in the best way, you might say.
Yes. So one instruction that I received from my spiritual master, my teacher, was give your heart to your service. So this is the principle I really aspire to follow. To give your heart to your service means whatever you do, you try to do your very best.
Yeah.
So in that way, whatever you do, it's never mechanical. Because whenever you try to improve something, do something better, then automatically your consciousness is invested there, and it's not mechanical. Especially, it's very beneficial to apply this principle in our daily chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. If we manage to always aspire to do it better, then the spiritual progress can be quite quick. But it's not easy. It sounds simple, but it's not easy, as we all have experienced.
Yeah, it's kind of, I can understand that. Yeah, very much so. You kind of tend to sometimes be like this, up and down, rather than steady. So I definitely experienced that in my life. So how long have you been practicing this spiritual practice?
Yes, so if you remember, I mentioned the article that I read from a magazine, and then shortly after that, I received books by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So that was the beginning of '99. So basically in '90s, I can say.
Right at the end of the 90s.
I joined in '90s. Yes, yeah. '99. It was in the March, I think it was March 15, '99 when I received the Prabhupada's books, and since then.
That's what, 20 odd years now.
22, almost 22. Yeah.
22 years, huh?
Right.
And it's gone. It's probably gone in the blink of an eye. Those 22 years.
Absolutely right.
I think I've lost connection there.
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
I've been on pause for a second. Yeah, and what I mean, in those 22 years, you've probably had to, seen so many things, but faced so many challenges and, ups and downs. Yeah, can you mention any about any of those? What has been your challenges?
Challenges, yes. Challenges, there's unlimited list of them. never short of challenges. But yes, some challenges. I'm definitely still struggling with
sleep deprivation.
with can say with the root cause of material existence, which means the mindset that thinking that I'm meant to find happiness in this world. I'm meant to be the enjoyer and controller. That I'm, yes, the desire to be better than others, or be appreciated, glorified. You know, the false ego, bro.
Yeah.
It's manifesting in different forms. It's getting more subtle, of course, as you practice. But yeah, the battle continues.
And how was I suppose how was practicing such a spiritual life helped you?
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
Yeah, how is practicing your spiritual life? How has it helped you, or what have you gained, or what have you developed as a result of your practice?
I wouldn't imagine my life without spiritual practice. I would feel totally empty, probably, and without any clear direction in life, without the purpose of life. And you know, if you don't have a purpose, you know, goal in life, not just some small goal, but the ultimate goal, then that can be a great cause of stress and anxiety and confusion, you can say. Therefore, I'm very grateful to be able to have that knowledge and opportunity to practice Bhakti Yoga, and also, yeah, to associate with other saintly people who are also endeavoring on this path, who are, yes, endeavoring transcendentalists. Because a lot of our own progress depends on the association. So yes, what I have gained, I feel everything that has meaning, that has value in my life. It's because of the spiritual practice. And yes, I wouldn't change it for anything, if you ask me.
Cool.
Yeah, which also means, of course, something I would recommend to everybody to at least make experiment. If you haven't tried it out yet, definitely try out Bhakti Yoga, which starts from the basic practice of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yeah, and what does, chanting this mantra, it's something you do every day. So it is. I mean, I do it myself. So what is this? Maybe you can tell us more about the chanting, just chanting mantras, or chanting mantras, I should say.
Yes, so chanting is the essential practice of Bhakti Yoga, and it is called spiritual sound vibration, which has the power to connect us with the source of everything, with our creator, with the supreme person we call Krishna. Yes, so this chanting is something that it purifies our consciousness and our mind, which means that of course, the ultimate result of the chanting is love of God. Yes, but the other side effects, it gives you, of course, peace of mind, some clarity of mind. It has the power to destroy your negative karma. Who doesn't want that? And basically, it has the potency to give you everything that you could ever desire. You mean, we might have so many unlimited desires and ideas. What would make us happy? Essentially, that's what everyone is looking for: eternal, everlasting happiness. And and all this is invested in this spiritual sound vibration. But there's a process how to access that. It is not possible by just mechanical chanting. We are expected to, you can say, pay the proper price for this this unlimited, unending happiness. And that's a hard work to chant this mantra as it's supposed to be chanted. It takes consistent effort. Well, but it's something that it's definitely worth the endeavor. Yeah, some few thoughts on this.
Yeah, and you can really see it in your effulgence, you might say, in your body luster and stuff like that. You know, that what you're putting in is you're getting out of it. You might say the proof is in the pudding for you, because you're bright, you're glowing, so you're. Or is that just the light that's kind of shining on you?
It's just a light, just a light.
So, kind of, obviously, you know, spiritual practice is kind of a lot of what you do, but you do a lot of other things. Like I said, well, like I mentioned earlier, you know, you're into theater. Theater is a part of what you do. You know, you do martial arts, and you recently kind of started taking up Kung Fu. So you did. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, about Kung Fu, and what kind of got you into doing Kung Fu.
Well, the word Kung Fu, if you translate it from Cantonese Chinese, it means hard work. In that sense, I've always done Kung Fu.
I think a lot of people have done Kung Fu, but it varies from person to person as to what that Kung Fu is, you know.
Yes, actually, the word Kung Fu has a broader meaning. Usually, people have in mind martial arts, some kind of fighting style, but actually, Kung Fu also means any type of art that you practice. So if you practice, I don't know, you can say piano or some other type of art, and if you become pretty good at it, you know, I could say you have perfected your Kung Fu. That sense, Kung Fu you can apply in broader meaning. But yes, I started recently practicing Wing Chun Kung Fu with the idea, a purpose of teaching it in the future, or adding it as one of the subjects that I plan to teach in my curriculum.
Sorry, I think I lost it there for a second.
There was a dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. So kung fu. So I mean, I probably don't know very much about kung fu myself, but does it kind of, I've heard the term chi.
Right.
And does that have something to do with kung fu, and what is that related to?
Chi. Chi. We have another different word for chi. We call it prana, for example, prana, the subtle energy. One is learning how to control the chi and channel the subtle energy with one's mind. Yes, so that's like Tai Chi, Qigong. There are different methods of using that subtle energy for either for attack or defense. Power. This is you can say master to be able to harness and control that subtle energy. But nowadays, it's becoming more and more rare that the younger generation is picking up the skill, and that's mainly because they have lack of discipline, lack of self-control. Because it requires, some work to be able to learn to generate and control and direct that subtle energy, the chi.
Yeah.
But it traditionally is a very essential part of martial arts, so that you don't simply only depend on your physical gross muscle power, but you learn to utilize that subtle energy.
So it would have some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Similarity in some ways to practicing something spiritual. So there's kind of like an element there that's kind of, they cross over, so to speak. Like when you talk about discipline and about, prana and control, self-control. There's kind of one can help the other in learning all these things.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of parallels with the yoga practice. In yoga, similarly, one learns to can say utilize that subtle energy, prana, through breathing exercises, through meditation. It's very similar. One sense, it is not spiritual. It is a subtle material. But yes, in yoga practice, the prana control can be spiritual if it's applied for bhakti, for serving God. Then, but it can also be applied for, selfish material purposes, and then in that case, there's nothing really spiritual there. It is simply subtle material.
And is, as regards to kind of the training, what sort of training would you do? Is it just specifically kind of like you'd have in, I remember I did karate many years ago, but it was more about just learning moves and being able to defend yourself or attack somebody, in that way. But would kung fu be the same, or would it be a lot different?
Yes, that sense, it is same, because to become good at anything, you have time, lot of effort, and a lot of repetitive movements in order to learn anything, because especially in combat situation, you can be effective if you have all the techniques and moves in your muscle memory. So there's no time to think in real threatening situation or fight or combat. There's no, one is forced to react and behave automatically by your, yes. So therefore, yeah, martial art involves naturally repeating the same techniques over and over again in order to create the, you can say, this habit muscle memory that body reacts automatically and does the right move at the right time without you thinking or planning anything. Just there's simply no time for it. So yes, even Kung Fu requires the same practice and discipline to become good at it. There's no shortcuts. There's no way around putting the work in.
Yeah, but you were mentioning that you've done the first part of your training, but you did it in like 3 months, or you did it in a shorter period than anyone else.
Right. I got my diploma here, my certificate. I'm just showing you here. I passed my first grade, my first grade of Wing Chun Kung Fu. Of course, there's many more grades to follow in the future, but at least yes. So I wanted to speed up my progress. Usually it takes much more time to pass first exam, but yes, it's for me. It is not something separate from this Bhakti yoga practice.
Yeah,
I also dedicate this martial arts as a offering of devotion to my spiritual master and to Krishna.
and that's really the key, isn't it?
Right.
It's always everything is as an offering.
Yeah, that's my main motivation. If you ask what motivates me, that's my bottom line motivation why I do it, because I do it as a service, and with the idea of opening my school in the future, and where I can then pass on this knowledge.
Yeah,
but not simply only martial art as a fighting style, but my ambition, desire is to make some interesting symbiosis or mix of martial arts with the practice of bhakti.
that sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
that actually was what I suppose I was going to ask you was, what does the future look for Dina Dayal? The next 5 years or something like that.
Future, no one knows.
that's definitely true.
We can only make some plans.
Yeah,
and then depend on our destiny. But yes, so my focus at the moment is to attain this qualification of martial art teacher, and then at one point, hopefully, settle down somewhere, which I don't know where it will be, and then yes, open school where students can come from all over the world. And in this way, I would like to contribute, offer valuable to the global community.
It sounds like a very I suppose interesting and exciting to be able to do that, to be, how would you say, to find your purpose in life and follow it. Many of us probably don't find it, and then perhaps don't even follow it, even if we do, to the degree that maybe they want to, because they got so many other things going on in their life that they can't. So it's nice to hear that someone's fulfilling their purpose in life and that they're really enlivened by it, and they just want to keep going, continue and just get better and better and better and better as they proceed. So thank you for we have a couple of minutes left. Just wondering if we have any questions. Amanda, do we have any? Does anyone have any questions? Put in any questions on Facebook or on any of the live streams. Or I'm not getting any answer from him. He's gone to sleep.
No,
So you're staying put in.
I wanted to thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
You have some question.
I'm not losing you again. Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
Sorry. Hare Krishna. Hare Dina Dayal.
Nice to hear you, Amanda.
Just a disembodied voice. I just have some comments to actually displayed underneath there. So Yoga Maya is saying, Haribol, good to see our friend Dina Dayal. Jivan and Yoga Maya send you our prayers. And
Thank you, Jivan and Yoga Maya.
Thank you very much. Missing you all.
It's nice to hear that people are watching and listening in for show.
Yes.
we have Pushpa commenting, saying, so looking forward for you to open your martial art academy. And she has a question. What is the age requirement?
Yeah, what age would they start at, I suppose? Would someone start such a training for martial arts?
Well, in Vedic scriptures, there's a verse, Kaumara Prakyo, that means that from an age of 5 years, one should start learning. Since, yeah, no age. But of course, for practical purposes, there should be some age limits. To be honest, I haven't really thought about that so deeply at this point. At the moment, my concern is to learn, get my skill set together. And yes, so at least I have some plans, some ideas that in the academy, I would like to initially teach 4 different styles. One is a Wing Chun Kung Fu, right?
Yeah.
Then is Kombatan, or modern Arnis is another name. It's a fighting style with the 2 short wooden sticks. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so like double 2 hands.
Yeah.
So then the third one is archery.
Archery.
The classical archery. Yes.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yes.
My son has a bow and arrow.
Oh, wonderful!
So
amazing,
he might be interested.
Amazing. Okay, sounds good. We'll sign him up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'd love to do. Is
right.
Depending on where you're situated, would be amazing. He's a real Kshatriya, so he is.
Yes,
warrior,
archery.
I should say.
And the fourth would be performing arts, martial arts performances. This is something I know, something I have experience with for 15 years now. And so this is the 4th subject in curriculum I would like to teach.
Okay. They, all of them sound very, very amazing. Actually, the thoughts are reading in my head already. Oh yeah, you could do this, this, this. Put your children in it.
Yes, I wish I knew where it will happen. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
we don't know these things, yeah, but that
Yes.
will come up when it's ready, and
Right.
people obviously, if it means having to travel to this location, then we've all got to be prepared to do that.
Right.
Whatever it takes, I guess.
But my main purpose, my goal is with this martial art academy is to really give the spiritual knowledge, not just martial arts for martial arts sake. That you can get anywhere. There's so many martial art dojos and schools and gyms, teachers. But I would like to offer something a little bit more unique. Yes, where martial arts is closely combined with spiritual practices and spiritual wisdom, and also something that would help to elevate people. Yeah, a lot of fitness workouts will be part of the program, naturally. Martial art without fitness is a joke.
Yeah,
I always say. So yeah, individuals they're meant to become physically fit and simultaneously spiritually awakened and aware. So
okay,
this is the goal. Yeah.
Sounds it really sounds amazing. So it does. I'm excited myself about it. Even if I don't, even if I'm not doing it, I'm just excited about it to know that it's happening.
Everybody's asking, what about the adults? Is it too late to learn?
Never too late. The class where I go to learn Wing Chun, half of the students are much older than me even. Some are the mid 50s or end of 50s, or so therefore there's no really age limits. Age is a number, as they say.
Yeah.
Yes. So one can start at any age, any time, and simply make progress from there onwards. And yeah, one will be benefited. Many benefits are there.
So yeah, I'm considering it myself. Ahmad, anything else from comments? Any more comments or questions before we wrap it up?
I think that's it.
Okay. Do you have anything to ask, Amanda? Or comment? Oh,
I don't know, we have a few minutes left only.
yes, 2 minutes.
But nice to see you, Dina Prabhu. Thanks for your association here in Ireland, all these years that you gave to Irish Yatra and Irish people. So, and I'm, just saying thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. I really hope to be back there at some point and miss everyone there. And would like to come again.
Yeah, Dina, we look forward to you coming back to Ireland, even if it's just for a visit. But certainly to come back and start up your Wing Chun Kung Fu here in Ireland would be amazing if it's possible. But I guess we'll wait and see if when the time comes on that one. So yes. Yeah, we're almost out of time. But Dina, it's really lovely talking to you. Nice, really lovely seeing you again. And we appreciate you coming on the show. And maybe you can listen in, to if you have time, to any other of our next show and shows to follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
And,
me, and good luck
have
with
a-
your future podcasts.
yes, thank you. Okay. Sorry, Amanda.
So, John, you want to say about the future podcast?
Oh yeah, I suppose about a few next. Our podcasts are going to be on every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and they'll be live on Zoom or Facebook. And anyone who wants to can join the live shows if they wish to. Just send an email to yogihour@gmail.com and we'll send you the links. Or sign up to the Yogi Hour on Facebook, or just click and subscribe on the YouTube as well. Who have we got next week? I'm trying to remember now. It's gone out of my head.
It's okay, John. One of the guests will reveal it.
We will reveal
Sure.
it. Yes, we'll reveal it very soon. I'm sorry.
Unknown guest.
I should have written it down. I'm gonna be anyway. It's a surprise. Surprise is gonna be on next. But yeah, it will be revealed on Facebook and we look forward to that one. So I want to wish everybody good night and tune in next week at the same time at 6:30. And thank you, Dina, and everybody for watching. We'll see you soon.
Everyone has a story to tell. Shining a light on stories that uplift us, that change us, that inspire us. Yogi Hour. Listen, be inspired.